Hello. Hello. So we are now in the reading for building solutions, but I will also be going over some writing because as I told you on the test, there will be 6 questions about the rules of writing. So you do not have to write. I just want to let you know now. But there will be 6 extra questions about the rules of writing. So the first 30 questions will be similar to what you did for the midterm. But then there will be an extra 6, which will talk about or ask about the rules of writing. So I'm going to go over some, basic stuff. But first, we're going to start with the reading section for building solutions. So you guys should all be on page 50. And yeah, I already read this for the TED Talk about this photo that Yeungnam took. So we're going to get into vocabulary first. So let's begin with that. All right, so you have the words on the left, the meaning on the right. But we all know that community is not the act of building something. So all you need to do is match the meaning with the word, or because you have the word on the left, you can always just look at the word. What does it mean? And as usual, you have as much time as you need. Pause your video now. Okay, so let's check the words and the meaning of the words in Okay, so as I said, we all know that community is not the act of building something. Community is a social group of people that share something together. All right, if something or someone is unique, it's or they are special, unlike anything or anyone else. All right, and the example I used at the beginning, that is construction, the act of building something. Okay, we're down to 2 words, professional. Relating to work that requires special training, which leaves us with technique, which is a method or procedure for doing something. All right, I'll leave this up for about 5 seconds or so. You can double check or take a screenshot. And then we're going to get right into the reading. So if you want to go ahead, that will be on page 53. Well, with all that talking, I'm sure you had enough time to double check your answers, take a screenshot, whatever you needed to do. So let's move on to living spaces. All right, so here we have a photo, again, taken by Yeungnam. These people gather outside a store in Torre David, an abandoned office block in Caracas, Venezuela, that residents turned into apartments. All right, so yes, let's just get right into it. You know what's going to happen. There will be audio. You just have to read along with the audio. Here we go.
Living spaces. In many communities around the world, people are finding creative ways to make the most of their resources.
Continuing on the same page.
City in a tower. The Torre David in Caracas, Venezuela, was designed to be a modern office building, but the project was abandoned when the construction company closed, and the building was never finished. However, local residents saw an opportunity. They began to turn the empty offices into apartments and stores. They painted the entrance and planted trees. As there were no working elevators, residents used taxis to reach the upper floors via the parking garage. Within a few years, 3,000 people were sharing a community that they built themselves. The abandoned tower, says photographer and TED speaker Yvonne Bond, turned into a living city. Recycled homes. In Huntsville, Texas, a community is building houses from recycled building materials. How did this start? Local builder and TED speaker Dan Phillips noticed that construction companies traditionally threw away large amounts of unused bricks, wood, and cement when they built homes. Phillips decided to work with local people and homeowners to build houses using these materials. These people are not professional builders, so Phillips teaches them the skills and techniques they need. The houses look different from normal houses. Phillips encourages the homeowners to be creative and make each house look unique. Building of the future? What happens when you need a lot more living space, but you can't build skyscrapers? That was the challenge facing architects in Mexico City, where tall buildings are forbidden in order to preserve the city's cultural heritage. The solution? Build an earth scraper. The earth scraper is a pyramid-shaped tower built upside down and under the ground. Still in the planning stage, this innovative building will provide housing, office space, and cultural centers, says architect Emilio Barja, without affecting the city's historic downtown area.
All right, before we move on to the questions, if you will, they're not really questions, it's more understanding reasons. I just want to go over Mr. Barhau, I'm pronouncing this correctly. Anyways, this is his plan. So if you look at this pyramid-shaped earth scraper, you will see the area where people would live, work, and play. And it would be the first 10 floors. And I'm not going to read all of that. You can read it yourself. But of course, before you get to that area, there would be a view. So those of us visiting would see like a glass, and we could actually look down. And then moving around, hanging platforms will move everybody from floor to floor, up and down. So yeah, this is the plan. Now, I don't think it's built yet, but I guess one way to find out would be to go online and search for him and or Earth Scraper Mexico City. All right, so we're going to go to page 56. All right, so here's, like I said, it's going to be not necessarily questions, but more understanding the reason. So let me read what the book says. Writers often use reasons to explain causes and affect relationships, basically why. Why am I writing this? Why do I think you need to know? So they will use words like because, so, therefore, and since. Some words come before the reason, since, because, and others come after or before a result. So, therefore. So take a look at this chart, and complete the chart by matching each reason below with the correct idea. So there's the idea is below, as you can see, and then you have like a little blank space. What is the reason? A, B, C, D, E. So as usual, you will have as much time as you need. Pause the video now. All right, so you are ready to check your answers. So we will check your answers in okay, so Torre David was empty. Reason? C. The construction company closed. So the construction company closed, so Torre David was empty. Torre David was empty because the construction company closed. Since the construction company closed, Torre David was empty. I'm not going to go over all of these, just using number one as an example. And of course, I will then show you what I said. All right, so for number two, the reason, E, taxis take people to higher floors of Torre David because there are no elevators. I'm just going to use because. Dan Phillip wants to build houses with unused materials, because he thinks throwing away materials is a waste. Dan Phillips provides help with building skills because the local people are not professional builders. The earth scraper architects plan to build on the ground because they can't build up. All right, so the answers here are C, B, A, E, D. All right, there's a countdown coming up next. Don't worry about that. There's nothing you really need to do. So here we go. Oh, never mind, no countdown. This is the example, sorry, my mistake. The example or examples I used for Torre David, here they are. So Torre David was empty because the construction company was closed, since the construction company was closed. Or the construction company closed, so Torre David was empty. Given another one. The construction company closed, therefore Torre David was empty. Notice the last one, these are two sentences. So I'll just leave this up for you guys to make a note, take a screenshot, because what we're going to do next is the rules of writing. All right, so what am I going to talk about? Well, here we go. We're going to do capitalization, then we will do punctuation, and then there's a longer slides, I guess, if you will, or there'll be more slides when I talk about main idea. All right, so since I did say that on the test, there will be 6 extra questions about the rules of writing. I need to go over this. What, some of you may already know all of these rules, but I need to go over it just in case there's the one student that maybe doesn't know or isn't sure about something. So here we go. Capitalization. All right. So capital or uppercase letters are important in English. And there are many situations, sorry about the writing here, when you should use them. Let's begin the review of capitalization with 5 basic situations. Don't know what happened with the writing here, but anyways. Let's get to number 1. All right, so rule number 1. We use capitals for the first letter of the first word of a statement or question. It doesn't matter if this word should not be capitalized, normally. If it's the first word of a sentence or a question, the first letter is always capitalized. And here are some examples. His birthday was last week. We decided to have a party for him. Many people came to the party. How old is he? The party was a lot of fun, wasn't it? How many people were at the party? All right, so let's take sentence number 1 and number 2, right? So for example, now you have these 2 simple sentences, right? His birthday party was last week. You can then continue. We decided to have a party for him. So what I'm saying is this could actually go here, but because you have the period, we becomes capitalized. So we decided to have a party for him, but I'm not going to get into what we talked about in another class. I'm just showing you his birthday was last week, period. We decided to have a party for him. So the first letter of the first word is always 100% of the time capitalized. All right, rule number 2. Use capitals for the first letter of a name, and it doesn't matter what the name is. I'll get to that in just a minute. His name is Saad al-Khatani. Her husband's name is Arthur, isn't it? They enjoy Chopin's piano music. We study at Yeungnam University, so that's what I meant. It doesn't matter what the name is. It could be the name of a person, like the first 3. It could be the name of a place, a coffee shop. It could be anything. If it's a name of someone or something, it is always capitalized. That's rule number 2. We call these, just so you know, proper nouns. All right, P-R-O-P-E-R, proper nouns. So proper nouns, names, are always capitalized. All right, rule number 3. Use capitals for the first letter of the names of the days of the week. Yep. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. When you're writing and you're using a day of the week, capitalize it. Also, I'm getting into rule number 4. Also, when you're writing, if you're writing a month, capitalize. Right? Use capitals for the first letter of the names of the month of the year. January through December, all of them. They are all capitalized. All right, and the last rule for capitalization is I. Use a capital letter for the first person singular pronoun. Pronoun, of course, is 대명사. So, right, I love ice cream. Have I understood you correctly? There's something I need to tell you. All right. So when you're writing about yourself and you use I, always capitalize. All right. So those are the 5 rules of capitalization. Now we are going to get into punctuation. Now I'm going to show you, like, I think it's the 12 important, or it could be all of them, but anyways, these are 12 punctuation marks, and I'm going to go over them, and then I'm going to show you example sentences using all of these. Okay, so we have full stop at the end of a sentence, so everybody knows that. Question mark, used to end an interrogative. That just means, as, asking. Think of police dramas, interrogate, interrogative, interrogate. So they're asking, where were you? Did you kill your husband? Did you kill your wife? Right? Okay, so that would be the question mark. Comma, this is used to denote or show a pause in a sentence. Exclamation mark. This is basically your shock. You're trying to show shock, surprise, anger, or maybe, trying to show that the person is yelling or their voice is really high, as in raised. Quotation mark. This is used to show that what someone else has said. Ted said, quote, we are going to learn about punctuation, end quote. All right, colon, used to indicate what is to follow next, usually like a list. Semicolon, used to link 2 independent clauses. Think of clauses as sentences, basically. Apostrophe, used to show possession or for contraction of words. So whose book is that? It's Ted's book, apostrophe S, or let's see, are you guys going to see the new film? Yes, we're, W-E apostrophe R-E, going to see it. Hyphen, used to glue words together. Slash, used to separate letters, numbers, or words. Ellipses, this is used to separate items in a series. You'll sometimes see this, somebody doesn't want to write the whole thing because it's really long. They just want to show the main parts. So they just want to show that these parts are part of a whole sentence. All right. Round brackets. This is one that is not going to be used in the example, but okay. Used to add extra information in a sentence. Okay. So here we go. Here are the sentences using each example. She's wearing a beautiful dress. What a beautiful piece of music. Oh, what a beautiful piece of music. Who composed it? Right? That's 2 in 1 right there. It's a beautiful dress, but it's ludicrously expensive. The comma, right? Then we have the, I think what are we coming up here? The colon. Tom was so hungry, he ate everything in the house. And then there's the list of everything he ate. Here's a semicolon. My wife would like tea. I would prefer coffee. All right, this is a woman's hat. So this is the apostrophe showing possession. Sarah had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. I don't know. I'm not sure. I hope you will be here, he said. Okay, so these are examples of punctuation marks. And just so you weren't sure, here is what I showed you earlier, and these are the sentences showing this to you. All right, so let's move on to the main idea. It's going to be longer. All right, so main idea. What's the big idea? Okay, so main idea, what is it? It's the purpose of the paragraph or the text. So all information in the paragraph should connect to the main idea. Some information is not as important. Good readers identify key ideas. So this is all about the main idea. All right, identifying the main idea. First, you should read the whole text. I know that a lot of times you think, well, it's going to be the first part of the text. True, but it could also be somewhere hidden in the middle of the text. It could be at the end. You don't know. Okay, ask yourself, what is the author doing here? And then 3, pay extra attention to the first and last sentence. But like I said, it could also, sometimes it could be hidden in the middle. You never know. So I'm going to give you an example and read it. All right. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first men to walk on the surface of the moon, but they were not the last. There was Gene Cernan, the last man to step off the lunar surface. In total, there have been 12 men who have walked on the moon, all of whom had done it, all of whom who had done so between 1969 and 1972, which is the most recent non-Michael Jackson moonwalking. All right, so let's look at this. Understanding the main idea. You must comprehend, you must understand the text. Focus on the biggest idea. Right. Armstrong and Aldrin, first men on the moon. Cernan was the last man on the moon. 12 men have walked on the moon. Right? This paragraph is about moonwalkers, or people who have walked on the moon. So let's say that this was on a test. What you just read was on a test. It could be one of the questions you get on the final written test. Now, on the final written test, you might, let me show you, you might get a question like, what is the main idea? Or, careful, test writers may also ask you, and this could be true for the final. Another good title for this passage would be blank. Basically, another good title for the passage is another way of just asking you, what is the main idea? So let me show you. Let me go back. We're going to use Armstrong and Aldrin, first men on the moon. I'm going to use that as the title, because to me, that is what it is mainly about. So what is a good title for this? Armstrong and Aldrin, first men on the moon. What is the main idea? Armstrong and Aldrin were the first men on the moon. But this title could be shorter. The first men on the moon. That could also be the main idea. What's the main idea? Oh, the main idea is the first men on the moon. right? Everything else is true about Gene Cernan and 12 Men and all that. But the main point, the main idea is really about the first men on the moon. Okay, so, that's my opinion. If you have something that you think that is not the same as me, you can always ask me in class. All right, so I think that should bring us to an end. We are pretty much at the 30-minute mark. Like I've said, I do try to keep these at 30 minutes as per the Yeungnam policy. Sometimes I do go over, I know that. All right, so that's it. Yeah, I'll see you guys in Zoom. And yeah, there's really nothing more to say here. So except, yeah, I'll see you guys in Zoom. Bye.